Hello, hello. I am Brandy,
And I'm Richard.
and we are Emerged by Design. Where are we today?
New Moon and Sagittarius.
Well, we are in the new moon in Sagittarius, but we are also
Oh,
in San Carlos, New
right.
Mexico,
That too.
watching the sunset, enjoying our last few days here.
Mhm.
So we decided to come and talk to you about the Sagittarius new moon. But before we do that, I wanted to remind you that we have a planets class coming up. We are super excited. We've been working on it every day, December 15th. And this journey into the planets in your design, in your chart, this journey is going to help you embody these frequencies, these archetypes, this hero's journey that we are all on with the planets in our design. And you have had some very profound experiences combining human design and the astrological understanding of the planets, right?
Yes, I for many years have been studying this and so happy to bring this course to fruition. Studying the planets, their frequency, their mythology has illuminated things in my human design body graph that I never knew previously.
Right.
Um, when we think about how they infuse that frequency
Right.
with their story.
Mhm.
It just brings it illuminates so many things,
Yeah.
and that's why we call it how our genetic energetics meets our astrologic mythology.
Oh, yes,
It's
yes.
like where the crossroads are.
Yeah, mechanics and mythology, where who I be meets the world, and why do I express myself in the ways that I do, and how can I evolve or refine this way of being?
Yeah, they are characters in our persona,
Mhm.
and we're going to take a deep dive into your charts
Mhm.
and the planetary placements and how they bring that frequency into the gate blind frequency, how they marry together. The planets are the imprinting agents that actually turn on the chart.
Yeah.
And so we're thrilled to be offering this
Yeah.
and help you discover and illuminate these secrets that lie hidden
Yeah.
in this information.
And for those of us who don't know what human design is and are not real sure what we mean about the planets, when you come and you spend this time with us, you are going to understand.
Well, we're developing a relationship
Yeah.
with these bodies of energy in the
Yeah.
sky,
Yeah.
really. So no background required.
None.
We can teach it all in the course.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're making these frequencies tangible,
Mhm.
developing a felt sense relationship with them and
Right.
how they affect us,
Right.
not only through their placement in our charts, but through the aspects that they form with each other.
Right. Because science has shown that what these planets are doing is affecting the molecules in our body. And so we'll go into that in later detail in our channel,
Mhm.
which, by the way, if you could take a moment and subscribe, it would really be wonderful.
Yeah.
We'd really appreciate it. Our channel is growing every day. And so
So
with that,
without further ado, let's talk about this new moon in Sagittarius.
absolutely.
Well, actually, before we talk about this new moon, we should, for a moment, just reflect on the lunar cycle that
yes.
we've just been through.
Mhm.
We had a new moon in Scorpio on November 1st. There were some big transformational aspects formed during this lunar cycle. Not only the new moon in Scorpio, we had the co-rulers of Scorpio, the planet Mars and Pluto, were opposite each other. We had Pluto leaving Capricorn
Mhm.
for the next couple hundred years. And we had the full moon of this cycle was conjunct Uranus. All of that to say that it was a deeply emotional,
Yeah.
watery, transformational. We certainly felt it in our lives.
We absolutely
So I just
have.
want to acknowledge if you had some emotional ups and downs last month, you were right on track. The idea was that the underworld was becoming illuminated so that we could confront our shadows, things from the past that may have been holding us back, particular vulnerabilities, limitations, insecurities. All of these may have arisen over this last lunar cycle. So, in that sense, I would call it deep, emotional, and transformational. Now we're making a very significant transition with the new moon in Sagittarius, moving into this mutable fire sign of optimism and belief and faith, adventure and exploration. So I think that whatever came up for each of us in the last lunar cycle, that we have now some signs, some information that we may not have had before that is deeply affecting how we can now move forward with our creative, inspirational offering on our life path, what our meaning of life is for us and how we want to offer that out into the world.
Mhm. And bringing this back into the moon, which we have been talking about our emotional bodies. The emotions and the way that we have learned to deal with, feel, express, share, develop our emotional awareness, and now moving into new opportunities to be able to, as you said, express ourselves in a way that allows us to integrate with the people around us as our most true selves. And so this from Scorpio, I think it was also opposed Pluto. Is that right?
We had Mars and Pluto
opposed.
were opposite each other, which means there was like a tug of war, a
Right.
tension of power against truth.
Right.
It can often, it's such a powerful dynamic, could have promoted a sense of overwhelm. Pluto can bring on this uneasiness of overwhelm, that it's all just too much.
Yes.
Where is it going? It was a difficult astrological aspect, but so valuable to be used and catalyzed into personal transformation. It brings on fear at some level, but to use that fear to pause, to look inward, to go deep within our own psyche about what, if I could remove this limitation, if I could let go this particular structure, whether it be a job, a career, a relationship, anything of that nature that might have been holding us back, we now possibly became aware of what it was.
And probably angry about it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where we need to be.
Yeah.
And that Martian opposition to that limitation is the thing that blasts it away, is the thing. Now, we can blast it away with love, or we could blast it away with anger, only for it to come back again, always trying for love. So I think the opportunity that we were given there was to be angry from a place of self-love, to be in that, wait a second, this is limiting the love that I can share with you, the love that I feel for myself, the way I integrate in love with the world around me, to be able to put our feet down and say no. And now this new moon, again, where the moon is now having a private conversation with the sun. This private conversation that is being had is, if we think of Sagittarius, he is shooting the arrow. He is, where can we go now? Looking out into what is possible, like you said, with optimism, with no fear, and with this ability to even sometimes be blind to anybody else, but in its own direction. And so now the opportunity, I feel, with this new moon, this private conversation the sun is having with the moon, sharing what could be, I know we say what could be possible every week, but it's always, we are always in a process of refinement, of growing, of moving. And so how can we structure our emotional truth in a way that meets our stars that we're shooting for, but doesn't isolate us from the people around us? And with Pluto still having lended to that, I feel like it is still a little scary. Because what if you don't have whatever it is that you think you should have when you do speak your emotional truth, when you do shoot your arrow? So I think the invitation right now is to be brave and to really speak. Not just, I understand we say the creative expression that we are here to give to the world, but it's more the emotional truth. The 26th in the fourth line with Mercury in retrograde. There's censorship there, but the ability to do it in a way that gives the words that are most true to your connection with the other, instead of those Martian fighting words.
Well, I really enjoyed how you shared all of that. That was really beautiful, painting the picture of this period. And because it is the exact time of the new moon, these several days really, that it's a wonderful time to pause, to reflect, to contemplate, meditate, acknowledge what we've been through, but to make a plan And that's very Sagittarius.
Yeah.
To have,
You shoot your arrow.
yeah, shoot the arrow forward. You know, we've been through a lot.
Mhm.
Where could we go? What is our drive, our passion? Sagittarius has a lot of passion in that sense. Interestingly, in the body graph, it's in gate 9, which is called the gate of focus.
Yeah.
It's in the channel of logic. And it's has that detail orientation. And so when we think about this optimistic faith of a plan of where we may go with what we've now learned from the underworld and uncovering hidden gems of truth through the emotional ups and downs, this is part of the logic of the plan.
Yeah.
What step can I take in a methodical way to move forward into this new space?
What is the reasoned course of action?
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, and when we say logic or reason, it is the thing that is good for all of us. It's not this individual selfish, even though it's really important that it is authentic, it's not selfish. It is reasoned. It is the next logical step in the equation.
Well, and to add on to that is that it's in line 5 in human design talk, which is being practical.
Yeah.
It has a universal truth. So it really does lend itself to, yes, it's my personal authenticity, but it also has practical application to the world.
And so to have faith is what this line is
the
telling
name
us.
of the line.
Yeah, is to have faith that reasoned step-by-step approach, even though we may be overwhelmed by our previous inauthenticity, or we may be overwhelmed by our emotional truth and all of that fuel and power that comes now, there is this quality that is lending its ability to go step by step and to have faith that each of these reasoned choices will lead us where our arrow is going.
Very well said. Thank you for that. And when I hear you say step by step, I'm also thinking about the fact that Mercury is in retrograde currently, also in Sagittarius, but in retrograde. And whenever Mercury is in retrograde, which happens 3 or 4 times a year, it is a time to be methodical, right? To not just barrel ahead, right? It's a time of reflection, reframing, reviewing previous steps possibly, and how we might change them in this new belief that we're in. But it is just to contemplate that, it is a supportive time with Mercury in retrograde to really review the details.
Yeah, of that emotional truth in a way, again, I keep bringing it back to in a way that allows you to integrate emotional truth with the other. You know, it's not necessarily a new belief that's happening. It's a belief that's always been there. It's just the time to speak of it.
Yeah. Well, and when you say speak, I'm also still thinking of the planet Mercury, because he is the planet of communication. Part of the signature of this new moon is that Mercury in retrograde is forming a trine with Chiron. Now, in human design speak, Chiron is in gate 51, line 5, the gate of shock, the line of symmetry, but he's also the wounded healer, this planet. And so there's this a supportive communication between Mercury and Chiron that lends itself to this story. And I keep thinking back to what we were sharing just a few minutes ago about whatever this is bringing up from the past, that pain or suffering or challenge or limitation that we've been through in the past can actually be part of the fuel that is the healing process.
Right. And you hear me with such passion in my voice because I have been in the midst of this exact energy. And just because we study these and we teach about this, it doesn't mean that we too also don't get caught up in the evolutionary opportunities that are given us. And so what this has shown me with my Mercury also expresses itself through this gate 51, this shock, this competitiveness, this underworld, this darkness before we get initiated into something new. So Chiron and Mercury, or this archetype, is alive in the way that I communicate my wounding. And it's been an opportunity for both of us, and me particularly, to lose it and to lose myself and to not be able to have access to my tools in a way that showed me even a deeper emotional truth that I had not allowed to emerge yet. And so these energies, if you're watching to this far and you don't understand some of the words we're saying, what I'm saying is these energies are all here giving us lived experiences so that we can fall in love with ourselves and the world around us deeper. And so this is the opportunity, that I have been given in these archetypes that are alive, not only in my design, but now in the sky. So if you're curious, shameless plug here, but if you're curious about how these energies are affecting you and your design, if you have been in these phases of life where you're just, for me, it was, wow, I have not had an outburst like that since I was 20 years old. And not having access to being able to be in love all the time, but wanting to be there. If this is also has been part of your story, come and see us and we will show you the reasoned step-by-step logic that shows what the opportunity for you is now, and then help support you on your way to whatever it is you desire there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your personal story, because that is what we'll be digging into in this course, is how we were able to use the charts and the information offered there to help provide texture and words.
Context.
Yeah. Context. That's the word I'm looking for, or what you were just describing there.
Yeah.
So a couple other things we wanted to mention about the signature back to this particular cycle, this next lunar month that we're heading into, is that Venus, the planet of love, harmony, beauty, tranquility, is forming a trine with Uranus.
And a trine is a good thing, and Uranus is shock.
Yes, Uranus is shocking. Uranus is still in retrograde in the body graph in gate 8, which is part of the channel of inspiration and inspirational contribution to the larger totality. And I see this Venus also in human design speak is in what we call gate 61, which is the gate of inner truth. We can all relate to that word. We all are under pressure to understand, what is my mystery? What is my personal inner truth? Well, that frequency is communicating with this shocking Uranian possibility to express it. And this supportive trine is lending itself to this Jupiter, to the Sagittarian nature of the emotional quality of this month, that we have the opportunity to really move our truth forward. This influence is bringing this frequency into real life, that through our words and our actions and our deeds, we may find opportunities through focus and logical detail to put the next step forward. And what this sense of personal inspiration and inner truth, how would I express that?